Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Members of Juan Luis Hospital's governing board voted 3-2 Monday to reinstate Dr. Kendall Griffith as the medical center's interim CEO. It was directly after a board chair, attorney Key Walker's announcement that she was stepping down from her position during a special board meeting. A majority of St. Croix senators had been petitioning for a special session to address the hospital's issues. And Senate President Sean Michael Malone agreed to convene a hearing Wednesday. Before Walker stepped down, she read a statement listing dates from March 2011, when they declared a financial emergency and asked for a cash infusion of $10 million to present, where the hospital continues to struggle and no special session was ever called.
Without conducting any further due diligence, these senators have now joined a crusade to support one individual by giving him unfettered and uncontrolled authority of the island's sole hospital. And now a special session has been called and promises are being made to identify the funding that JFL has been screaming for since March of 2011. It is clear to me that those with the authority to actually help this institution won't do so because of public need. Rather, they will rally their policy making and appropriating authority behind an individual with no questions asked, instead of actually rallying behind the institution. If it takes rallying behind one person to get members of the legislature to act to identify funds to save this hospital, then I won't stand in its way. I am therefore stepping down as chair of the board at the end of this meeting.
We'll have more on Tuesday's newscast. Be sure to count on 2 to keep you updated. Some St. Croix residents are calling for answers to the questions about why a local beach was damaged to deny the public access. During the weekend, unknown persons trashed the Estate Carlton Beach, pulling down parts of an old ruin, and then dropped an abandoned car and large pieces of brush in front of the entrance. News 2 will bring you that story on Tuesday. Governor DeYoung submitted an agreement to the Senate that will dictate how the Hovenza refinery will be sold on Friday night. The governor sent the fully signed Fourth Amendment agreement between the VI government and Hovenza's co-owners to Senate President Sean Michael Malone for legislative approval. The sales process of the South Shore refinery can't begin without approval from the 30th legislature. Governor DeYoung urged senators in his letter to join him in his efforts to usher in a new era of industry, employment, and economic success to St. Croix that will benefit the entire territory. The Virgin Islands Territorial Emergency Management Agency, VITEMA, will host representatives of the Department of Defense, U.S. Northern Command in the territory next week to conduct a Defense Support to Civilian Authorities Executive Seminar. It will be held July 16th to 17th at the Virgin Islands Cardiac Center Conference Room on St. Croix. For 2 days, more than 40 senior executive VI government officials and senior officers of the VI National Guard will meet with federal government representatives to discuss policy, planning, coordination, capability, challenges, and execution of DSCA operations. The St. Thomas Chamber of Commerce and Downtown Revitalization, Inc. will be hosting a public forum that's on Tuesday, July 16th at 5:30 p.m. Now, during the forum, the Department of Public Works will be presenting the latest designs for Veterans Drive, as well as any update on the Main Street Enhancement Project. The Water and Power Authority will also be giving updates on the Main Street Hazard Mitigation Project. The forum will give the public an opportunity to ask questions and get some feedback. For more information, you can call 774-2501 or 777-2222. Police are investigating the robbery of the Seven Wonders gift shop on Saturday, located downtown St. Thomas. Police are now looking for jewelry that were taken from the showcases. According to reports, 4 men with their faces covered in ski masks held a gun to the head of the employer, smashed the showcases, and took all of the items, then ran off back street. If you have any information that could assist in the investigation, please call 911, police detectives, or Crime Stoppers. In February of 2012, Florida neighborhood watchman George Zimmerman shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, claiming it was an act of self-defense. Well, this weekend, Zimmerman received a not guilty verdict, and a lot of opinions have been formed because of it. News 2's Shaniqua Robinson has more.
Many Virgin Islanders followed the George Zimmerman case very closely, and now that the verdict is in, News 2 is determined to get some feedback from our local community.
In 2004, my family and I lost my stepson. He was murdered. He was 19 years old. He had just finished high school. He was on his way to college. He was gunned down in an act of violence. As a parent, my heart bleeds for Trayvon's mother, especially because when you don't have closure, which is what is going to happen here, she does not have closure in her son's murder. It leaves an everlasting effect on everybody in the family.
I believe the prosecutor sort of missed the point, and the point is Mr. Zimmerman called law enforcement when he saw Trayvon Martin supposedly looking like a suspicious person. The police officers at that time asked him to remain in his position, do not pursue. To me, he lost any course right there, any self-defense, anything was lost right then.
Well, I believe the verdict came out exactly how I thought it was going to come out. Many of my friends asked me from the beginning of the trial what I thought would happen, and I told them he would get off once you understand law. When you cannot prove something, you cannot be mad at the system that was not made for our people. When I say our people, I do not just mean people of African descent.
We do know for sure that that Zimmerman was stalking Trayvon. So, you know, with that evidence and the fact that he's dead, you know, there's some type of punishment that needs to be exerted to Zimmerman. So,
as far as watching the case, I looked at it and I cannot understand how the prosecutor couldn't do a better job of showing the jury that Trayvon was not doing anything wrong. He belonged in the neighborhood. He was simply walking to the store to get a snack, talking to his girlfriend on the phone. What did the prosecutor say? He was missing for 4 minutes. Maybe he was hiding from George Zimmerman.
I do believe that this points to America's true state and the mentality that still exists. People don't want to admit it, but America is still very racist. I lived in North Carolina for 10 years. I'm not afraid to tell you that. As a black person living in America, you always have to look out twice because you're always suspect.
Shaniqua Robinson, News 2.
So far, members of Trayvon's family have only said they want the public to respect Florida court's verdict, but the NAACP is pushing the U.S. Department of Justice to file a civil rights suit. Meanwhile, George Zimmerman's attorney talked about the possibility of the civil rights suit against the former Neighborhood Watch captain. Zimmerman was acquitted of murder and manslaughter, as we mentioned in the case last weekend. Attorney General Eric Holder also spoke out about the case today. Susan McGinnis has the latest from Sanford, Florida.
George Zimmerman's attorneys tell the CBS Evening News they are not worried about a possible criminal civil rights suit against Zimmerman.
The FBI has looked at this case for over a year, and they never found any evidence of racism or inappropriate actions by George that would suggest a civil rights violations.
Defense attorney Mark O'Mara also says he is not worried that Trayvon Martin's family will file a wrongful death suit against Zimmerman.
All of the information that did not make it into the criminal trial about Trayvon Martin is going to be very relevant in any civil proceeding. So I don't know why they would want to risk sort of damaging the memory of Trayvon Martin.
The Justice Department is looking into whether the government should file a civil rights case against Zimmerman. Attorney General Eric Holder spoke about the case in a speech to an African-American sorority in Washington today.
We are resolved, as you are, to combat violence involving or directed at young people, to prevent future tragedies, and to deal with the underlying attitudes, mistaken beliefs, and stereotypes that serve as the basis for these two common incidents.
Zimmerman has been in seclusion since the trial. His attorney says he will request to have the gun he used to shoot Trayvon Martin returned. On Monday, hundreds of people attended a prayer service at a church several miles from where Trayvon Martin was killed. Pastors here are promoting peace and trying to help the community heal in the aftermath of George Zimmerman's acquittal.
Well, the White House says President Barack Obama will not involve himself in the Justice Department's decision on whether or not to pursue civil rights charges against George Zimmerman. Critics of Saturday's verdict have called for the Justice Department to step in. White House Press Secretary Jay Carney told reporters it would not be appropriate for President Obama to express an opinion on how or if the department should move forward with civil rights charges. Carney said the president released a statement on the outcome of the case Saturday because he felt the death of Martin was a tragedy for his family, the community in Florida, and the whole country. Well, the not guilty verdict in the George Zimmerman trial again was a topic of discussion Monday at the NAACP convention in Orlando. Here's more from that convention.
After that verdict was rendered, if you ever wondered whether we need the NAACP today. The question has been answered loud and clear. After that verdict, it was devastating. It broke their heart again. And Sabrina said she cried, she prayed, she cried some more.
We need to file a civil lawsuit, and we need to really take a serious look at how we do things in this country.
Meanwhile, in other news, keeping our eye on the economy, stocks opened higher after the Commerce Department reported retail sales rose 0.4% in June, mostly because of a strong demand for cars and higher gas prices. Starting today, you can learn how to give away money like Warren Buffett. From Buffett himself, one of the world's richest people, is gradually giving away his $58 billion fortune. More than 4,000 people have signed up for his online course. They will help decide where to donate more than $100,000 of Buffett's sister's money. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank's Stock Market Watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 19, Nasdaq 7, S&P 2. Coming up on News 2, everyone wears clothes. This simple fact is what keeps the fashion world buzzing all year round. There was a lot of buzz about fashionista highlights from the runway. Plus, Virgin Islanders have already celebrated Independence Day and Emancipation Day, but there's one more holiday this month that celebrates freedom, Bastille Day, and the French community had plenty of events to commemorate the day. We'll be right back. Well, it's another successful year for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life in St. Thomas. This year, thousands of participants, volunteers, and cancer survivors take to the track to show that the fight against cancer is stronger than ever. News 2's April Knight has more.
The Charlotte Amalie High School track and field was lit and packed on Saturday as thousands of Virgin Islanders came together for the American Cancer Society's 2013 Relay for Life.
Relay for Life is actually our fundraiser where we raise funds in the territory to help cancer survivors. Sometimes, although they have insurance, they still need help. And sometimes there are people with no insurance, and then they really, really need help.
A lot of the cancer survivors to get from St. Thomas to wherever they want to go, getting people back and forth from the island, help with whatever you need that you cannot afford.
The first relay in the territory, set up 13 years ago, was nothing like how it is now, with tents sprawling across the field and the track never without walkers. The fundraising effort relies heavily on participating teams, each raising at least $1,600. This year, about 82 teams, or over 2,000 people, are involved. The night is all about survivors. The Survivors Pavilion, set up with a lounge and formal dining, make them feel like VIPs.
All over the track are these paper lanterns, lit in memory of loved ones who lost their battles, or in support of survivors who are still fighting theirs.
These lanterns shine even brighter during the luminarious ceremony, when all other lights go out and only the survivors walk the track in remembrance, victory, and hope. In the end, Relay for Life is also an opportunity for survivors to share their stories and urge others not to take their health for granted.
Mothers, friends, girls, boys, men, children, make sure you go and have a physical, because we never know what's lurking behind those walls.
April Knight, News 2.
Now, proceeds made by the Relay for Life in St. Thomas go toward helping cancer survivors with their medical needs. Separate relays are also held on St. Croix and St. John. Well, everyone wears clothes. This is what keeps the fashion industry busy. From models to designers, every age level has to be represented. There's always a huge buzz about what's new. There was lots of glitz and glamour at the Mark C. Marin Center at Antley School, and the stage was set on Sunday as over 40 local models strutted their stuff on the runway. The evening centered around fashion, hair, accessories, and shoes. Models showcased the talents of clothing designers from the territory and the Caribbean. Many were in for a treat as special guest supermodel Tico Armand hosted and worked the runway during some of the segments.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting a great cause. And we definitely hope to see you again next year, same time, same place, for Fashionista 2014. Thank you.
The week-long celebration of French heritage began July 8th to July 14th, culminating in Bastille Day, a day marking the event in 1789 when the people of France rose up against King Louis XVI, leading to the establishment of a new popular government. Bastille Day is celebrated as a national holiday in France. However, St. Thomas is home to many French residents who celebrate it as well. The French community has a long history in the territory, dating back to the 1600s, with descendants who immigrated from St. Bart's. Many events were held in Frenchtown at the Joseph Aubain Ballpark and Northside, including Bastille Day's Kingfish Tournament. Many gathered at Hull Bay to enjoy music from bands such as Cool Sessions and Lashing Dogs. Coming up in sports, we'll have the winners of the Kingfish Tournament. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.